Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Hey, Bernard.
Hey, Liz. How you doing? How's everything going?
Good. How are you?
Excited to be here.
All right. We're ready for another new episode of the Army Empire Podcast. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. So I'm watching this screen over here to see who's popping on. Thank you guys for always being such an amazing audience and following us and commenting and just learning and being a part and being so interactive. We enjoy being here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. learning some new things about all things money matters. And our coach here, Mr. Bernard, he has got a new topic for us today. Share with us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about.
Yes, we're going to talk about something that people don't like to hear. It's the four-letter word when it comes to finance. It's called budgeting, right? Budgeting, right? And we talk about it's not a dirty word. It just and that's people hate budget. Like when people associate budget, they think of, oh my gosh, like in jail. They feel like they're getting like in jail, something like they're getting constricted, like they can't do anything. And it's not a dirty word. It's just ways for you to have control of your money. You have to see, instead of looking at budget as jail, like restricting, use budget as freedom. Budget equals freedom.
Budget equals freedom.
Budget equals freedom. Associate that have different associating when it comes to budget, and you want to seem like, okay, listen, it's the reason you budget is to have control of your money. That's the main thing. Okay. And
okay, we need to write that down.
Yes.
Let's say that again. The reason why we budget is to what?
Is to have control over our money. That is the only way for us to have control, if we budget. Otherwise, our money controls us. It's our bad habits control us, and that's why. So this is 6 simple steps that help you create a budget to free up money for the future, right? And let's talk about things that you want to do. Let's talk about what's happening out there. This is the reason it's important to budget. Let's look at the crisis in the U.S., right? And a lot of people feel that way. Those are some stats, right? Majority of middle class Americans say they struggle financially, and that's a reality. You know, I mean, average person, they came in, if they had a $1,000 emergency, it would set them back tremendously. So that's tragic. Millions of Americans near the golden years, guys. This is the reason why it's important. Are still financially unprepared for retirement.
Oh, right? Yes,
it's true. According to Census Bureau, 50% of women and 40% of men between the age of 55 to 66 have no retirement savings.
You've spoken about this in previous episodes. The reason why it's so important to understand and learn about this so that we're ready and we're not part of that statistic.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad. It's tragic. I mean, that's 50% people that are working hard 40 hours a week, and they're not going to have enough money. And so that's why it's so important to catch as early as possible. About 1 in 4 of you US adults over 50 say they expect never to retire. So like they're like, I'll work for the rest of my life. That's just their mindset because they are so way behind on their goals, right? And consumers are like, there's $1.1 trillion in credit card debt out there, and it's growing, right? And household debt climbed to 17.6 trillion. These are facts, and delinquency rates rise again. So this is the past year, and it's not getting any better in the process. So this is what are some things that we can do to fix that, right? Why you want to create a budget? Number one, like we talked about, to get a grip on spending. That's one reason I create a budget. That's number one. Second thing is to help you save for retirement. Or if you want to buy a special purchase, you want to buy a car or a house or something, right? And the third is to know exactly where your hard-earned money goes each month. We need to know where your money. You need to know where your money goes. We're not the government where we have unlimited income, right? And we can just print money if we need it, and we can spend $50 on a hammer or something. That's not where we are. We have limited income. Since a lot of people have limited income or they have a certain amount to work with, you have to make sure it's allocated. Just like any business to be successful, they know where everything goes, right? And the last one is to avoid the debt trap. Because if you don't, what happens is if you don't get a hold of your money, and sometimes you make the mistakes, I don't have enough money, so I have to use debt.
Right?
To fall. So those are the 4 reasons that you want to have. Like we talked about, first one is the general one, is to have control of your money. But those are also other reasons why you want to create a budget for yourself, right? So if you look at the next slide, see what should be like a right allocation where your money should go. And this is the mindset you want to have. Now, not everyone's money is divided accordingly, but this is what you need to be thinking about. You need to think about, if I look at what's the ideal way to look at your finances. Number one, 30% of your income is going to go towards housing and debt. So if you have rent, a mortgage, or some debt, you shouldn't have more than 30%. If you have more than 30% of your income paying for mortgage, rent, or debt, include that, that's bad situation. That's bad. Okay, that's really not good. Now, 26% of your income should go towards living expenses. Living expenses, utilities, food, babysitting, things like that, right?
Right.
25% should be usually in taxes. Average person is between the 18, 22% tax bracket. Plus, if you have a mortgage, you're paying property tax, right? There's state tax. If you're in some states, right, you pay state income tax or local tax. So 25% of your income should be in tax, that aspect and taxes. Now, 4% is insurance. So either like car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. You shouldn't pay more than 4% on that. Now, this is the part. 15% of your income should be in savings and investing. Got to make sure 15% of your income, the ideal scenario, and if you could do more, then do more. But at least 50% of your income should be saving invest. So that should be ideal way to look at it. So if I were you, I would look at, okay, this is where my money needs to go, the right allocation. It may not be there right now, but this is where I want to get to. Because if you don't have a clear picture, if you don't have a clear, concise mental picture where it should be, then it doesn't. You don't have a destination that you're not going to work to get there. So you have to say, let's look at my money, and this is where I want it to go, and I want to keep it that way.
So I just opened this up because when I open up the slides, guys, I really want you to screenshot it. This is like something that you need to keep on your phone, and then have a discussion with your partner and say, are we spending 30%? And you'll realize, oh my God, we're spending almost 40% on housing, or we're only saving 5% when we should be saving at least 15%. This is really, really good to look at. Good evening, Robert Brown. Good evening, Robert Kroll. Good evening, folks that are watching us on Instagram and on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, Jenna, she already Jenna already knows. Jenna already knows. Oh, wait, there's another one. Lori already knows.
Awesome.
when I open it, I feel like it's something that I want to remember. My husband's screenshot, you girls screenshot, so that we can now go back and look at our income and see if this is working. Love this. Yes, Jennifer.
Exactly.
Joining us, Jen.
Absolutely. So this is where you want to be. So let's look at what are some things we can start doing. The step number 2. The next step is gather information you need to get started, right? The first thing is you want to find how much money is coming in and how much is going out. Okay? How much is coming in and how much is going out. So this requires some work. This requires a little bit of homework. This requires to look to really delve into what's happening. For typically, this usually going to be an eye opener for most people because here's how to get started. You want to gather every financial statement you have. So any like bank statements you have, like bank statements, investment accounts, right? If you have recent utility bills, etc., credit card bill, look at everything. It's going to require some work. It's some required cell phone, everything that you spend your money, everything is going out. If you need maybe you need to go to your account or something like that, or look at your account, see what's going out, right? Then you look at all sorts of income you have coming in. So if someone has salary, where you work, right, or child support, or all these pensions, Social Security, CPP that's in Canada, and QPP that's in Canada. Any rental incomes you have or dividends you're getting and stuff. Look at every single where the money's coming in. Okay, your salary and how much money you're making, right? Now, based on that, that's the first thing you want to do. Now, what do you do with that information? Okay. Now, the next slide, you have to create a list of monthly expenses like mortgage, rent, car payment, auto, health, everything, groceries, how much you spend in grocery, utilities, entertainment, college, savings, everything you spend your money on, everything. Yes. Even
everything, including
subscription, right?
How about Star Wars collectibles? Where do those get assigned to?
That's a special category. You get bypass. Okay.
Robert Brown is laughing at that one.
Absolutely.
We got the Roberts. That's so
absolutely good. So this is what happens. So you want to make sure that all these expenses down, have them all written down, right? Now, if you look at the next slide, now there's a sheet. You can take a screenshot of the sheet if you want, right? And it tells you everything, right? So this is where you get, and this is you put all the info there, right? You can take a screenshot of it for you. Then you start. This is where the homework starts. Like you write down. If you look at the column, mortgage, debt, second mortgage, all these different things. Now you start inputting all that information. You input the date that is due, electric. If you look at utilities, electric, gas, water, right? Phone, landline, right? Transportation, car payment, insurance, life insurance, disability, health. Right, I mean debt payments, right? All these debts you have, groceries, dining out. If you look at on the right side, childcare. If you're paying childcare, babysitting, child support, tuition fees, even haircuts, personal care, haircuts. If you go to hairdresser, right? Prescription. I mean everything, right? Everything down. Pets are they're part of family too. They have expenses. They have expenses too. Everything, right? Everything down. Right. And you can be able to, this is why you start inputting the information that you've got. This requires work.
It does. Bernard. Okay. So I was a paralegal for a bankruptcy law for 15 years.
Yes.
And part of the petition that we would send to the court, one of the things that we did with the clients is exactly that, down to if your dog gets groomed. I would have to tell them, does your wife do her nails? Does she get haircuts? Like, this is all part, because you have to prove to the court that you have no money left over at the end of the month. And that's why you're filing bankruptcy. So here we're able to see, what is the disposable income? Is there any money left over? But if you don't do a budget, then we're kind of screwed.
You never know. And you'll be in chaos. You'll be chaotic, and you're going to find yourself frustrated at the end of the month, having no money, and you're gonna get in a situation where, man, you feel like you're in the rat race. So you're like, it's like you ever see those durable, they're running around hamsters in the wheel, and you're running, but you're not getting anywhere. And that's not a good place to be, right? So you get all the information, you write it, and you just be very, yes, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a couple of hours. Yes, it's gonna take a couple of hours. Yes, it might be painful, but it's so important to do that, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at next, then what's going to happen now that you create a list of monthly expenses, right? Now you're going to separate your expense in two different categories. Now this is where you got to do a little bit more work. There's fixed expenses, right? And those fixed expenses are expenses that stay relatively the same every month, right? And they are very necessary for the way of living, right? Like a mortgage, rent, that's necessary. Car payment, necessary. Internet service, necessary. Credit card payments, those are fixed expenses usually, right? Those are the ones. Insurance, those are fixed expenses, right? Now there's variable expenses, and those are the ones that change from month to month, like groceries, gas, entertainment, dining out, gifts, right? Shop, all these different things that change from month to month, right? So those are variable expenses. So you have to divide to fixed, one category, and variable, another category. Now, what do you do with that information? You add it all up. Now, if you look at the next one,
add it up,
right? Then you total up your monthly income, right? Then you total off your monthly expenses, and this is where if the income total is greater than the expense total, you're already off to a great start. Now you can put extra money towards either retirement. I can save more money towards your retirement, or paying off some debt, paying down the debt a lot sooner, right? So this is what, now, if the expenses are greater than your income, it's time to make some changes.
Oh, so good. You mean it's not play money?
It's not play exactly. It's not play.
I should be able to put whatever's left over into retirement savings and paying some debt
Absolutely.
down. Okay.
Absolutely. Right. Now, if your expenses exceed your income, you'll need to make some adjustments. Right. Now, now that you have a list of all your expenses in front of you, you will need to find some areas to cut back. Right. So, I mean, the first place you might want to cut back is take a look at your variable expenses first. Or look at because maybe there's some things, maybe you should eat out more. Maybe instead of eating a couple times a week, maybe, right? Maybe you should just
eat Sundays after church. Yeah, just Sundays after church.
Sundays after church, right? Maybe if you like going to, let's say, Starbucks every single day, everybody loves that. I mean, if you think about it, that's $4 or $5 that you're spending, $5-7 at the end. 30 days, that's $210, $250. And people don't realize if you put away $200 a month from now to from let's say 30 to 65, that's $250,000, $300,000 you would have.
Wild.
So those are things. So you took like the variable expenses, then those are easiest to find ways to cut back. With the variable expenses, going out, shopping, things like that. So that's the first thing you want to do. Now, if you look at the next slide, right? At that point, see, now that you create a budget, make sure you review the budget monthly. Right? And make sure you stay on track. You stay on track, right? And sometimes there's a big challenge where maybe there's nothing to really work with. Maybe sometimes you need to make more money. Maybe sometimes people have their expenses, maybe their fixed expenses. Sometimes you can even go and work on the fixed expenses too. Find ways to, like, your debts, right? So if we talk about if you need to, maybe have a mortgage, you want to be able to get a second mortgage to pay off the debts, maybe, right? So maybe that's a way for a way to cut down on that. Maybe there's different things. Look at even cable, for example. If you think about it, our average person pays, I mean, $250, $270, almost $300 a month, right? On cable, on like cable and stuff. Maybe you don't need, maybe most of the times you're watching Netflix or those apps or something, Yes. So maybe you cut it down, just bring it down to maybe internet, right? And you cut down apps. So maybe you don't need all these apps.
Yeah, I think that is like the first place to go. I know this is the first place we went to when we were like, okay, wait, we need to cut down a little bit. And it's because we've been in this whole thing for 28 episodes that now when we have conversations as a marriage, our conversations have changed and shift because of everything that we've learned on this podcast. Absolutely. And we've said, okay, do we really need Paramount? Do we need Disney Plus if we already have Hulu and Netflix? Like, think about it. That's the very first place to go. It's
true. And sometimes people don't realize you're spending $150, $200 just on apps. Yeah. You're spending, here's what most people do. Check this out. Most people spend $150 or $200 on these apps. Then they have cable because they need to get cable. So they're paying $270. So they're paying almost $400 a month.
Yeah.
$400 a month on entertainment, where they can say, you know what? Cut down on some of them.
Yeah. Jen is saying it right there. It's a stack of this technology that we really do not need. And then we're going to the movies. Like, why go to the movies? You already have all the movies in Netflix. You're paying for all of this stuff right there. I love what my husband just said. I was thinking the exact same thing. We need to save this episode and send it to our kids.
Yes.
Send this to our kids. Why? Because we have literally just learned how to, congratulations, you now know how to budget.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not bad. You don't have to do it forever. Just do it once or twice and revisit it every once in a while. So it's not something that every month I got to do. Just do it once or twice, right? I know, right? Because it's your iffy. That's good. So I mean, if you think about it, do it once or twice and just go back and just do it again once in a while, but you don't have to do it all the time, right? But make sure we gotta make sure that everything, that pie chart, is taken care of. The most important thing, we gotta save and invest money.
I'm gonna go back to that slide of the pie chart because I'm like, oh my God, we're already done with the slides. This can't be over already. We just started.
I know it's crazy, but it's so important to have that. So keep that in the forefront. Keep that in the forefront. But it's okay. Even see it. You can start bad and finish well. You can start bad and anything and finish well. I know people tell you the way you start, the way no. You can be in a position where maybe everything's all over the place, right? But and you can put yourself in a position where things starts making sense. You start going the right direction. But the most important thing, like we were talking before, is maybe a lot of people need to make more money. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is to make more money, right? So find a way to. We always talk about ways to make more money, ways to do something on the side to increase your income. Because sometimes you might be in a position where there's nothing you can do, right? Like you can rearrange the chairs in a Titanic. If the ship is gonna sink, it's gonna sink no matter what, right? So,
dude,
you may have to make more money for some people, but for a lot of people, for most people, I believe for a lot of people, probably 70-80% of people, if they just make some minor adjustment, pay more attention, more intentional, and it will make a huge difference. Don't go out to eat and spend enjoy yourself. Our goal is not to not enjoy yourself, but make sure the things that are important are taken care of. Make sure. Okay. The most important thing, you have to make sure your savings is gone. If you have 10-15%, and if you want to ball out, but make sure those things are taken care of. Make sure the real money, your emergency money, and make sure you have 3 to 6 months of your income saved up. God forbid you had an emergency. Make sure that's taken care of. Make sure the money for retirement, like you're on track to have money for retirement, make sure that's taken care of. Then if you want to whatever, ball out and get stuff, fine, but make sure those things, because the last thing you want is and have not sure, and you don't, and that's sad. That's a sad part. I hate when people, we work hard. A lot of people work hard. Most people not lazy. Most people work hard, and to have at the end and not have nothing to show for it is just sad. I hate to see people that work so hard, and over the years, 27 years doing this. I mean, you sit down with clients, they work hard, they work overtime. They it's not like they're lazy, but they just bad choices, not knowing, and end up being in a bad position. If they just take the time, it's not easy, yes, and get together with your spouse, and they might sometimes they might fight it, but if you come together and if you have clarity, what happened when there's conflict? Because there's no clarity. When there's no clarity, there's conflict. So sometimes in a relationship is when you don't know what's happening, and you go and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? What happened to the money? What happened to that? And then this is where it creates challenge and conflict and come. But if you take the time, yes, it's painful. Yes, it's time consuming. Yes, but that's the best way to do it. That's the best way. Absolutely.
So good. This episode was wild. Just when you think he's not going to pull anything else out of his sleeve, he does. He pulls something amazing out. And this one right here was an epic title and conversation.
Thank you so much. I mean, we just want to help have people the information necessary to make the right choice, because we've been there. Sometimes even us, like, oh man, we have to, even us being in the field, we always struggling. Oh man, we shouldn't do this. We should spend this. We should save more. It's everyone. We all in the same boat. We all in the same boat. Just to make sure that have that awareness and say, you know what, I need to adjust. I need to fix, and I need to get back on track. Just like a GPS says, whenever you take a wrong turn, what a GPS say? Recalculate. And sometimes we just gotta recalculate.
Yeah, this is an episode to put into action. That's so true, Jan. And we can already put it into action immediately. Like, teacher just gave us homework, and it's easy for us to be able to just get through this. Definitely a great episode. Yes, best episode ever. Okay, all right. They're talking. Lori's like, yes, because you know what it is to be 10, 15, 20 years working at a factory or at a hospital. Yes. And then you're 70 years old and you have nothing to show for it.
It's sad. It's heartbreaking.
It's not happening to us.
It's sad. No. Anyone I come across, listen, they may not like what we're saying, but it's just, we're always going to tell the truth, and we're always going to tell you like it is. Because only one thing I really know, only the truth shall set you free.
Hallelujah.
Shall set you free. Absolutely. Hallelujah.
All right, Coach, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for just shining the light on this whole thing of budgeting all over again. to adults. You know, we need to be reminded of those great tips and even things that we can start implementing right now. We cannot wait already until next week, next Tuesday.
Next week is gonna be very good.
Lori says the t-shirts.
Yes, I know it does. It always does, right? Absolutely. I mean, one thing working next week is good. You know, like this month is Women's History Month. I think Women's History Month, Women's Empowerment Month.
Yeah.
And we really and it's crazy because women taking the forefront. I remember, like, you know, when I don't know about you, but when our parents grew up, it's mostly the men that took care of the finances, took care of everything, right? Yes. And usually that's the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago. But now it's changing. Women is taking the forefront of finances. I mean, and because of what's happening in society, you know, there's single women, single moms out there. And so even the finances that are very, so we're going to have, it's going to be dedicated towards women. And we're going to have probably my wife, Eileen, a couple of the top ladies in business probably. And so it's going to be, and I'm just going to be watching.
And we can talk about all those things.
I know. It's not set in stone, but we're working on making that happen because we want to make sure in March that we actually, it's important. It's important for women to know about finances more. And it's controversial, but you have to know about it. Yeah. It has to happen. It has to happen. Even if, even sometimes when a husband takes care of everything. Yeah, but you need to know what's happening. If something happens, and you need to know what's going on. I mean, I've seen tragic things happen where, for example, a married couple where the husband took care of everything, and all of a sudden something happened. He passed away, and all of a sudden,
passwords.
The person doesn't know any passwords, doesn't know where the money's going, doesn't know they mortgage. They don't know nothing because you trust, because some cultures you trust, and not 100%, but you got to make sure that you have to know. You cannot not know. So there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you take away from the man's responsibility, but you need to know what's going on when it comes to the finances. And I know some people want to hear that, but it's just a reality, because not knowing and something bad happens is very tragic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So good.
It'll be very good.
Thank you so much. We will see you guys next week, this exact same place, exact same time. We look forward to seeing you and interacting with you again as we dive into another amazing financial topic. Bernard, you rock.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Love
so
you guys.
much.
Take care. Thank you so much for supporting. And see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition. And until then, keep building your empire.